Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Sunday morning's video. I think the quality of play overall was a little bit better Saturday night compared to Friday night. At least the games were, in my opinion, a little bit more interesting. Um, there was a lot of angst in the games last night. Every game had at least one fight. Um, Several had, or a couple had several in it. And in one case, it kind of ended up shaping the outcome of the game directly. Okay, so these two games, we'll start with this. I didn't watch this game except, well, I spot checked it a couple times. I watched the last half of this game, and what a game this was. But let's start off with the Wolves getting a much needed sweep of the Danbury hat tricks last night, 7-4. And especially in the early going, this was all Watertown. Four straight goals, one goal in the first, and then 3 goals in the second before Danbury even got on the board. Watertown immediately countered, and that was the end of the night for Christian Wong Ramos. He's pulled at the 11:10 mark of the second period. Matt Lenz, he got the start for Watertown, played the whole game. The shots were in the first period decidedly for Danbury, but Watertown ended up on the board first. And the second period, yeah, that was the Wolves just turning it on, 15-6 in the shots. Third period, Danbury tries to get back into it. By then, I think it was too little, too late. But yeah, so Yefim Michigan scores that goal at 11:10 that knocked out Wong Ramos, and Frankie McClendon came in, finished the rest of the game, yielded 1 goal on 7 shots. But that's just it. Only 7 shots in the final, 26-47. So Watertown poured it on early and often, and it was enough. They hang on for the win, 7-4. They're now 3-6-1, and Danbury 4-5-1. This game, wow, what an incredible game. At least, like I said, at least the second half that I watched. Now, when I tuned in the game, it was 3-2. Yeah, 3-2. Baton Rouge had just scored the second goal. But yeah, incredible performances by Caden Henry. He's definitely going to be one of the stars of the game. Now, we do have one more game this afternoon that needs to be played out before we definitely determine who's on the list. But Caden Henry, 6 points last night. He factored into every goal, gets a hat trick. The first 3 goals that Biloxi had, and then he had an assist with the other 3, including the overtime winner by Luke Pikarczyk at 3:24 of overtime. Now, this game, it was Biloxi seemingly in control, and somehow, some way, Baton Rouge fought back. They get a hat trick from themselves for Ross Bartlett. The last goal was a shorthanded goal, and that really seemed to take the air out of Biloxi's game briefly. But then they kind of, they fell. They picked themselves up, dusted themselves off, and ended up getting the game winner in overtime. A very exciting game. The only thing that was really disappointing about this game is this number right here. 1670 attendance. Guys, if you are in the Biloxi area, go to a game. Support this team because A, there's a lot of potential on the ice. B, they're exciting games. This is not boring hockey. Invest in this team. Don't forget their current lease is a one and done. So if attendance is not too good, the Coliseum could pull the plug. So get out, support your team. Anyway, is this game? Yeah, this ended up being quite a thriller. 6-5, the final score in overtime, and Zydeco won 5-1. But I thought they played a lot better yesterday than they had in the previous 4 games or so. Biloxi got off to a slow start. They get the weekend sweep, so they're now 3-4, in a little bit better shape, and looking to climb the standings. All right, getting into these games now. There was a fine line of demarcation in this game. You see the thumbnail that I have for this video. Columbus gets off to a 1-0 start. Got rolling early. It was Brody Thornton scoring on the power play. Twin City having a lot of problems on the kill, giving up a lot of power play goals. All 3 goals by Columbus were on the power play. So it's 1-0. Trevor Babin looking very solid in net. And then he made a very poor decision. So it's at the 12:20 mark, and Jacob Schnapp does what he does, starts laying a beat down on Nathan Balquill. And Balquill was obviously at a disadvantage. I was surprised the officials did not get in there a little faster. So was Trevor Babin. Skates out of his crease, comes over, chirps at Schnapp while he's fighting, and then just drops the gloves and goes himself. He's the 3rd man in. He's gone. He had been 11 for 11. In comes Tyler Roy, comes in somewhat cold, and the complexity and the shape of the game just completely changed from that point on. Almost immediately, when this happened, Babin earned himself a 2-minute minor, and already Columbus had a guy in the box, so 5-on-3 opportunity. Twin City immediately scores a goal by Gus Ford, and the floodgates opened. It was 2-1 after 1, as Michael Mania also scored on the power play. And Columbus briefly tied it up, but then it was Mania and Pastuca scoring in the second. So it's 4-2 at that point. Thunderbirds go on the cruise 6-4. They add an empty netter by Butita at the end. Butita ended up having himself 2 goals on the night. Nice to see him kind of get off the schneid a little bit, because he was working hard. Pucks just weren't going in for him. But he got 2 goals last night, as did Michael Mania. And so an early start, and it gets lost. So Columbus falls to 4-4. Twin City now 2-6. This was a desperately needed win for Twin City. They played very well throughout the game. And if they clean up the penalty issues and or really work on getting this kill to be effective, I think they're going to be okay. But yeah, they definitely they're yielding way too many power play goals. So there we go. Smaller crowd on hand here. We had a good crowd up in Danbury. So yeah, basically with the whole fight, Schnapp kind of traded himself out, because he also got ejected, for getting Babin out. Babin was more, and I'm not saying this is a put down to Jacob Schnapp. He's one of the best two-way players in the league. But, you know, you remove Schnapp, you remove Babin. Babin's the bigger loss. So, and especially last night, because Babin was really sharp when he was playing and got thrown away. Okay, Indiana still looking for that win. And yeah, the score, not great. They did have a much better first and second period against Binghamton. As a matter of fact, for a brief period of time, Binghamton fans were in their seats chewing the nails because it was 2-1, and suddenly Indiana ended up with a two-man advantage power play. Connor McAnanima comes up with two huge saves to keep Indiana off the board. But yeah, this was not as easy of a win as the score or the shot total would indicate. It really was only the third period, which Binghamton just amped it up, potted 3 goals. Was it 3 goals or 4 goals? 3 goals in the third period. And the shots were 23-3 in that third period. So Indiana just kind of ran out of gas, quite honestly. But the first 2 periods, yeah, they were in it. So again, Indiana is making gains. It may take a little while before, quite honestly, it could be to like about the early part of December before they get in the win column. But I still think that the trajectory with the team is on an upward plane. They're getting better. Things just got to fall into place. Mainly, they've got to stay out of the box. That's one of the big problems. John Werber played for the second time in back-to-back games, made several big saves early. Brandon Zinchenko scored. He made it 2-1 at that point. And then from there on, it was all Binghamton. We had 2 goals by Gavin Yates on the night, 1 on the power play, and McAnanima stops 18 of 19. That 5-on-3 kill was really the key moment in this game. And it's really where Binghamton just, took off and Indiana was kind of left in the dust. Sellout crowd for Military Appreciation Night, and that was good to see. Yates did get into a wee bit of a tangle as well. Ended up serving some time, a little extra 10 minutes and whatnot. But there you go. So 6-1, Indiana 0-9-1, Binghamton 9-1. All right, this game, this was the game of the week. And early on, it looked like Monroe could pull off a shocker. They get off to a blistering start, score the first 2 goals, and so 6:08 into the game, it's 2-0 in favor of Monroe. And Indiana had gotten a few shots. Athens had gotten a few shots on goal, but they really weren't, high pressure situations. It seemed like that giving up that second goal just lit a fire underneath Athens, and they explode for 6 straight goals. Those 6 goals came over a 31-minute span because there were no goals scored in the third period. Richie Perrant ends up yielding 6 goals. Excuse me. So it was Greco scoring, kind of breaking things open. Luke Croucher scores. Garrett Milan scores. It's Kaysen Gallant. It's Virgili. Croucher added a second goal, a 5-on-3 power play late in the second. That was the end of the night for Richie Perrant. Sean Kuhn came in for the third period, stopped all 10 shots he faced, but nothing else got by Carter McPhail after those initial 2 goals. An Athens fan in the chat made a comment, something about, okay, the charity goals are out of the way, let's get going. And that's kind of what happened. Not charity goals. Monroe is a good team, and this was the most shots on goal that they had surrendered since game number 1 this year. So 43 shots on goal by Athens. Again, Athens just looks to be on another level than anybody else. So 6-2 is the final. 5-2 is the record now for Monroe, and Athens still undefeated. These 2 teams do play this afternoon at 4:05 in the classic, the Aikens Ford Arena. I'm sorry, I was going to call it the Classic City Arena, and I realized, no, that's not the name. Yeah, a little bit of angst in this one. Paul Jean officiated this game. It was a contentious game, let's put it that way. And there's a fine line between, keeping control of the game if you're an official and, just letting things go. Was a line crossed? I don't know. It did seem like players were on a short leash, but maybe that was for the best. I don't know. I think we'll get a good idea if things carry over into today's game. We'll kind of get a better idea of how well officiated this game was. All right. Speaking of officiating, the officials were extremely busy in Blue Ridge, and I'll be honest. It's not anything against Blue Ridge. It's not anything against Port Huron, but this was a game I was kind of dreading having on my slate to watch. And sure enough, first 10 seconds of the game, we have 3 fights. I don't have a problem with fights, with fighting, but if you're fighting just for the sake of fighting and distracting from the actual game, I'm personally not a fan. If you are, you do you. I just think it mucks up the game. It slows everything down. For crying out loud, the first period took 73 minutes to complete. That's too long. I'm just not a fan. Both of these teams, very gritty, not afraid to drop the gloves, not afraid to stick up for the teammates. And once we got past that whole big brouhaha in the first 10 seconds, it took a little while for the game to get going. But Nick Favreau, he found his groove. He scored twice in the first period, both times on the power play. He added another power play goal later on in the game. So he had a hat trick, all on the man advantage. This game did end up being very exciting. It's tied up 3-3 at the end of 2. Blue Ridge climbs back in it, goals by Reller and Martin on the power play. And then they take the upper hand. Michael Mercurio on a partial breakaway, he scores. And so it's 3-2. But Favreau added his 3rd power play goal late in the 2nd. So we go into the 3rd. It's all tied up, and Port Huron is just pouring on the shots. And this is what they do. They, this is their style play. They lull you into taking a lot of bad penalties. 71 penalty minutes for Blue Ridge in this game. Way too many. Port Huron had 41 themselves, by the way. But yeah, they kind of take you out of your game, your flow, and then they crank it up. Don't forget, Port Huron has a lot of offensive weapons. People that their names didn't show up on the score sheet yesterday. But, you've got Millette, who I guess is battling an injury right now. You got Bobby Price. You got Matt Graham. You got Alex Johnson. You've got Lucas Lackney. You got all these players that are very capable of lighting it up, and you're lulled to sleep taking penalties in the box. So, yeah, late in the game, very late. This is the second game between the two. Blue Ridge pulled off the miracle, last minute miracle yesterday. Today, it was, or the day before. And yesterday, it was Port Huron. Lucas Lackney scores with 6 seconds left. 6 seconds, excuse me, 5 seconds left. 1955. Time of the goal. That's the game-winning goal. And so Port Huron pulls out a last-minute thriller. Wins 4-3. Both of the games this weekend were 4-3 decisions. Friday for Blue Ridge, Saturday for Port Huron. Port Huron improves to 7-3, and it's 4-4 for the Bobcats. Pretty good crowd on hand at the Hitachi Energy Arena. I forgot to mention, this is a great crowd. Capacity is 5,600 in the Aikens Ford Arena, and they almost reached capacity. So excellent, excellent. So anyway, that's our wrap up for the day. Again, a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of Donnybrooks, whatever. So this concludes Saturday's games. We have the one game today, don't forget, and then we'll have a review via WordPress on the Facebook page tomorrow. And don't forget, very important video to watch, news and notes video that I did, kind of an impromptu special news bulletin edition that I recorded yesterday, is already on the page. Check it out. Talks about the announcement coming this next Wednesday on the new expansion team to Thief River Falls, Minnesota, as well as kind of concluding the crisis situation that happened in Indiana. Everything has fortunately kind of reversed itself, and the organization, I think, is again on a good track. So make sure to watch that video. And please make sure to hit like for this video. Subscribe, please, if you haven't already done so. Make sure to tell a friend. We're zipping right along. Love to have more people join the Fed League Flash community. So thank you again for all your support, and thanks for watching. We will catch you up on things tomorrow and through the week on Facebook. Make sure you're following the Facebook page. All right, everyone, I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash, wishing you a great rest of your weekend and a great week ahead.